Ooh, looky, another commentary track, famously the most beloved and watched things I have uploaded to the channel. What's up with that? Well, the long short of it is I have several videos I'm working on, or rather, several ideas for videos, and one video I'm currently working on, and they're all taking significantly longer than I thought. I'm almost done with the rough draft for the one I'm currently working on, another Dungeons and Daddies video, since that's like the third most popular video I have now. So hopefully that does well. And I try, at the very least in my own head, to keep up to a 2 week schedule, and that's not going to be doable. So here's just a little placeholder for content. The other two videos are about a follow-up to this specific video, and one covering Don Bluth's An American Tail, which I always want to call Fievel An American Tail, but apparently it's just American Tail. It's because the second one is called Fievel Goes West, but whatever. Making those has been giving me that Punisher episode 2 feeling, so hopefully they'll come out, and talking about them will probably be most of the runtime of this video, because I don't know how much I specifically have to say covering this video. We'll get to it when we get into it, so let's just start right about now. Okay, so this joke. So this is about, like, not even Dungeons and Dragons content, but even, like, gamers, everyone who just has to film right in front of their big collection. I love this song. Not a fan of most of this guy's other work, but man, I really do. This song just gets me. But I have to film in front of my collection, so I'm a real gamer, which is cool. I don't have a problem with it, but definitely sometimes it feels a little performative, a little cringe, a little pandering. But also, if you have the stuff, it's cool to show off.
Is not. That is also correct.
I'm upset that this is like the only thing I was able to get done when I had this haircut. I felt so good. It was one of the... Man, you don't always walk out of the barbershop like, I need to make plans. I need to be seen. Okay, so let's talk about the Gary Gygax thing, because that's a lot of what the follow-up to this video is. And what I said makes it sound more insidious than, Riceland. I want to talk about this for a second. This is making me think I should do the thing where I pause the video, but we're not going to do that. But the Riceland joke, there's going to be a follow-up to that in the second video. But it's going to be about gully dwarves, and we'll get there when we get there, but that's just a little, I'm planting the seeds. I kind of wanted the Riceland bit to be a JPEG of Riceland for no particular reason, but I don't know, I just thought it worked a little better to point out that I don't know that everyone who watches this is going to get a fucking Dragonlance joke in 2020. Is it 2 or 1? I don't know. Time isn't real. But anyways, that bit about Gary Gygax, it makes it sound more insidious than it is, and that's somewhat by design, because I have found when people are upset, they will share a video more. I prefer comments where people are engaging with me. That's what I like. But if you want it to get shared around more, I think people hate share more than they joy share. And it's an easier sell for hate watch. So sometimes I kind of court a more like, I want someone to make a video where they're like, SJW melts down about Dungeons and Dragons, and Sigil's so cool. Sigil's the best setting. I never get to play in Sigil. The closest I've ever got to playing in Sigil's Planescape Torment, and that's one of the best RPGs ever made, but God, I want to play. I want true freedom in Sigil. It rules. I had a brain fart. Yeah, the Gary Gygax thing. I think... When talking about Gary... So Gary... I think it would be ludicrous for me to be like, Gary Gygax is a racist man. Or at least the type of racist who would be upset if he found out I was playing his game. I think that's stupid. I think Gary is a man who grew up in, the 50s and was... not a Protestant. What's the one when you go door to door? A Jehovah's Witness. Was a religious white man who grew up in the 50s, so he has some odious views that are just sort of entrenched. I think he was born into a cult. How do I want to word this? The type of racism that lets you have the entire continent of goddamn Africa be a backdrop to just murder faceless soldiers in a Call of Duty game and no one bats an eye at it. That type, right? Let's not even talk about the gamification of races with, like, racial feats and whatever, and orcs get a +2 to Constitution. If we're opposed to a real world context, that gets icky really fast. But it's more about, like, JPEG of Tannis half elven and screenshot of me typing the words half orcs in the Forgotten Realms, JPEGs of those for no particular reason. But it's to say all mixed race things are products of sexual assault, that they come from a negative place. That's what most of it is for a long time in D&D. That's bad. I shouldn't have to explain that that's bad, but it is. It's not a good thing. Look up why mulatto was a slur for a long time to understand why. I caught myself right when I made a joke that I like. But yeah, I think that's the type of racism Gary Gygax had, not a truly malicious in his heart. He would be upset if I played the game. You can, however, judge his son on a modern context, because that was the word I was looking for. Judging Gary on a modern context is a little weird. But you can judge his son, who has said things with his mouth for your ears to see, that lets you know that he holds bigoted views. One other thing I wanted to say about Gary, just to not seem like I'm being overall a dick, because he's an interesting guy. He was in a street gang? It was the whatever street he was born on, Pirates, because he was a big smelly nerd. But he was a dude who wrote back to everyone in prison who said that they played Dungeons and Dragons and found it therapeutic. So, there's good, there's bad. I think he's a more harmless nerd than anything else, because look at the man and know that his legacy is making fucking Dungeons and Dragons. Yeesh. Also in that follow-up video I'm going to talk about, I can't remember her name at the moment, but she's the one who ousted Gary from the company because she gets vilified a lot. And the truth of the matter is, if you like D&D from a lore perspective, like you care about Forgotten Realms characters and you like Dragonlance, a lot of that comes from her, because her interest in Dungeons and Dragons was not about a game. It was, oh, look, we found a thing that gets kids to read books, and I come from a publishing background. Wouldn't it be cool if we got to do more of that? So that's what that video is going to be a lot about. And also, the white male rage joke that I made at the beginning of it, and that won't be a headache at all. I transpose a lot of the interactions I get on TikTok when I was making videos about Falcon and the Winter Soldier to YouTube, because honestly, a lot of YouTube comments I get are really nice. Okay, so this part of the video, let's talk about the elephant in the room. I think this video is a little lost, a little loose, a little misguided. Might have went to a Rise Up Academy. And I think the trick I'm trying to do here is getting you to connect to my point on an emotional level so it stands out more to you. The problem being, man, if you don't give a shit, if you don't care about this random kid and my high school D&D experience, the good majority of this video is functionally useless. I don't care that your group had a guy that didn't work out, you smelly nerd. But the point of the video is just Dungeons and Dragons can be damn near anything, and it should and is for everyone. Your table is not. Here's an example from my real life, and just while writing this out, I had this revelation where I was like, I don't think I ever apologized to my friend. And that's not like rude, but a thing you should do, maybe, if you hurt that guy. I don't think he is, and I don't really have any way to get in contact with him because real life happened. But I would like to think one day he'll see this and he'll know, and I don't think he's ever really been upset, but I don't know. Maybe this is me being selfish, but I'd like him to know that I'm better than I was. I don't even know if we had like a personal falling out. We still hung out after this for a little bit, but then, high school, you get out of it, life happens. Oh, Dungeons and Dragons. I say this all the time, but I wish talking about Dungeons and Dragons theoretically gives you the same feeling as actually playing it, because I never get to play it anymore. I just get to talk about and think about it, which is just as fun, right, everyone? Just as fun. But yeah, that's the thing I come back to all the time, is that the only wrong way to play Dungeons and Dragons is one that does not incentivize fun for the whole group. So your episode 0 should also include a lengthy discussion of what everyone wants out of the game, so we all know what we're getting into, so that everyone can have fun. And we've reached the end, and I guess like I said, I spent most of this video talking about, Lore Olympus. That's what, whenever I pick the video that's going to show up next, I go whatever the viewer would like to have the next one be. So I guess they think I'd like Lore Olympus, which is true. I like Lore Olympus. I made a whole 24-minute video about it. But yeah, like I said, I guess the bulk of this video was just talking about that project I have planned. I didn't even talk about the Dungeons and Daddies one. It's going to be talking about an animatic someone made, and I found I have way more things to say about that than I initially thought. But we're at the end. Hope you learned some things. I didn't really give you a lot of insight to making that video or my approach to Dungeons and Dragons, which, if you'd like, I could do one of those. I'd love... man, if you just let me make videos about me talking about Dungeons and Dragons, I'll be happy to do them. But thanks for sticking around. Hopefully I'll have some more structured, edited content. Again, this is just kind of a placement filler. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, sound off in the... I hate asking people to do the YouTube shit, but please do the YouTube shit.